theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated, but we are initiated.
I'm super excited.
You just agreed it was wrong. So why do you support it?
I said it was wrong to attack on the basis of race. I didn't say it was wrong to help on the basis of race.
Let's say you have one job and two people, and you make the decision, the deciding factor is the race of one of the people. One person is being hurt because he's the wrong race. Why is that okay?
Because he's gotten 350, maybe 400 years of benefit for being the right race.
Do you know him?
Okay.
Or are you just wait, hold on. Do you know that? All you know about him is his race, and yet you're saying that he's benefited.
Exactly.
But you don't know anything about him other than his race. So you're saying that all people of a certain color have something in common, which is kind of the definition of racism, isn't it?
No, that's also the definition of discrimination, because all African American people in the United States have something in common. It's that they were discriminated against.
If it's
you
don't know anything
or the
about
50s,
the guy,
they have something in common in that they were subject to lynching.
From Belgium yesterday.
He could have.
He has no connection to it, but you think it's okay to deny him something because of his color.
I think that the system itself, in order to fix what is the one original sin of this country,
we need more racism
has
to fix
correct
racism.
Itself. I don't consider that racism
it's not
at
racism.
all.
When you do it, it's not racism.
If I am in power as an African American woman and I insist upon you walking around with one hand tied behind your back, but I want you to plow a field,
I'm not.
then
I'm talking about the guy from. I'm talking about the guy from Belgium who didn't do anything, who's not connected in any way.
Can we go to my analogy at least to the finish of it?
He suffers. An individual suffers.
Yes.
But you don't consider that racism because why?
No, it's not. Because the numbers of people in this country who have been disproportionately discriminated against for hundreds of years are such that there has to be a correction for it.
So some people have to suffer on the basis of their race.
And in this country, those people have been African Americans and other people
of color. So the guy who's done nothing wrong must suffer because other people who looked like him did something wrong.
Yes, because I, as an African American woman, yes, I absolutely call it justice.
You're worrying.
Well, I'm in charge now.
And I just want to tell the audience as we get started with this, just today in the news is the fact that the Department of Justice is posting a new jobs ad today, looking for 8 new attorneys to defend the federal government in vaccine injury cases.
Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney, a teenage volunteer firefighter and traditional Catholic altar boy whose father is struggling through chemotherapy, leaving the 15-year-old to take care of his 93-year-old great-grandmother by himself for hours each day, is the latest target of the FBI. The resulting raid on the family's home left them dragged out of their home at gunpoint, handcuffed, and then locked inside a van. Instead of tracking down the high-level criminal organizations running mass looting sprees that have cost businesses billions of dollars and have made cities incredibly dangerous and even more impoverished than they already were, well, they decided to make up a crime instead. Whole cloth, to entrap a defenseless teen for political points. Because like I keep saying, the current incentives for career advancement at the FBI and the DOJ are political points, not going after bad guys, because with the way the left is going, the criminal you arrest today could be tomorrow's hero. So what these feds did was create online group chats and message boards that purposely use traditional Catholic and conservative imagery and memes to lure in users online. From there, they provided friendship and camaraderie to many lonely and disaffected people, like this homeschool teenager who had been given a cell phone for the first time in his life so that he could better communicate care needs for the elderly relative he was caring for. And since he was bored, lonely, and was dealing with a whole host of depression-inducing situations, including recent deaths in the family, financial insecurity, and ongoing health issues of his dad and great-grandmother, he easily got sucked into these message groups. But since this was a Fed entrapment scheme, they began upping the ante, introducing more vile rhetoric hidden under the guise of edgy political insights, and asking the young teen to take pictures of himself outside with a ski mask on, or to print pictures of memes to leave at parks, and even to take pictures with his family's guns. All decisions he has since apologized for and says he deeply regrets. This didn't go on for too long, and eventually the teen felt his conscience gnawing at him, and so he deleted everything, and then he left the chat. This made the FBI believe that he had gone dark, meaning that a massive attack was imminent. But once they began investigating for a warrant, they came up empty-handed. However, that didn't stop them. The kid had only broken free of the fake rhetoric they were trying to force on him to create a crime that didn't previously exist. You know, back in the day, sting operations were done when crimes were suspected. They weren't used to create crimes that don't exist. It's a difference between infiltrating a known extremist web chat and creating one by dragging in lonely people who are incapable of anything violent, making them feel like they finally have friends. And so they say some stupid stuff just to have someone listen to them and finally care about them. And next thing you know, they're being arrested. We saw that with the Whitmer Fednapping hoax in Michigan. If the kid is going to get arrested for saying extremist things, well, the people who fed him those lines were the feds. He didn't come up with this stuff on his own. So why aren't the feds being arrested for saying all that? Anyway, after the raid, the feds found nothing, of course, and so they gave up on their entrapment scheme, left the kid with a misdemeanor conviction for breach of peace, and then went after his dad, the dad and the dad's brother, for letting the teen safely shoot under their supervision because the feds said they were allowing a political extremist to shoot. It's insane, and it's bankrupted the family, and the feds don't care. They literally created a storm of pain and misery for this family who is already dealing with so much. And now adding insult to injury after making up fake crimes, they're leaving them, the family, with the bills. The father wrote, quote, "I've been reluctant to seek help, but the threat of losing our home has become very real. I work with the homeless for a faith-based nonprofit organization, and my brother manages a family-owned butcher shop. My wife stays at home and homeschools our younger children while managing a small homestead. We're paying legal bills by not paying other bills. Our credit is extended as far as it can go so our kids can have Christmas. The mortgage is a few weeks behind and we have zero breathing room for any unexpected expenses at this point. Our son is racked with guilt and believes himself to be at fault for our dire financial straits. While it is very humbling for me as someone who has always provided for others to ask for help, I know it is sometimes necessary, and for us, that time has come," end quote. Now, thankfully, the Give, Send, Go page for the Ruffini family has already exceeded its $22,000 goal. Any extra money will be saved for possible future legal expenses. This is what the feds mean by those memos, remember, we got from the FBI about going after traditional Catholics and other Christians.
About the people arrested during a sex trafficking sting during the week of Formula One. Thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Brian Loftus.
I'm Denise Valdez. More than 70 arrested, and in a story you'll only see on 8. Kyle Payne joins us with information on the group of those men. Kyle?
Brian, Denise, police identified more than 200 victims during that sex trafficking operation, using the full resources of its Vice section to, quote, target those who prey on the vulnerable. And speaking of vulnerable, 7 of the men they arrested thought they were meeting a teenage girl.
During this operation, we arrested 36 individuals for pandering, or more commonly known as sex trafficking, 31 people who were trying to purchase sex for money, 7 individuals for luring a child or soliciting a minor. This was part of a covert operation where the sex buyer believed they were meeting an underage victim for sex.
Those minors were fake online profiles, according to police reports, of 15-year-old girls who police say the men arrested tried to lure over the computer for a sex act. Police saying the decoy was, in each case, no older than 15. Most of them from Las Vegas. This man telling police he went to the park to meet a 16-year-old. And this one, police say, bringing protection and $100 for sex in his car. Another offering to pay $120 before lowering his offer to $100. And this defendant, who gave a Sacramento address, got pulled over in a Lexus with California plates. His undercover decoy was 14, and police say he had a $100 bill with him as well. The police report saying he denied the Viagra cops found in his car was his, and then telling police, quote, his thing doesn't work. The oldest man arrested is 64, the youngest 22. Police saying even though this sting happened during F1 when thousands and thousands of tourists descended on the Strip, it affects neighborhoods throughout the valley as well.
I want the community to understand that this is not a crime that is specific to our tourist corridors. It's occurring in our neighborhoods beyond the Strip.
One of the men arrested told police the $100 in his pocket when he got busted was for sushi. The police say they will soon launch a public awareness campaign to inform the community on the signs to look for when it comes to sex trafficking, Brian.
Kyle, thank you for that. With the Super Bowl just 61 days away, Metro says it plans to launch a similar campaign with the help of the National Football League.
We got these idiots right here from The Daily Show. They come and prey on sweet old men like this because they're losers and they don't have anything else to do. These guys have their things flipped around so that they don't know they're from The Daily Show.
I don't think they're going to
But they are from The Daily Show. They prey on guys like this, sir. Don't let these guys make fun of you. They're going to put you on a thing. They're going to edit the video and make you look like an idiot. Don't do it. This guy right here.
It's been nice talking to you.
What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Don't touch me. Stop preying on old man. Why don't you guys go do something like productive with your... Isn't there other things you guys could be doing?
Right now.
You're not talking to people. You're making fun of him. You're mocking him.
Right now we have a good conversation.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, just wait till you see the final product on their show. They're gonna make you look really bad. I promise you. They don't like Trump. They don't like you. They hate Trump. Let me just tell you something. They're part of the corporate media. They hate Trump. They hate you. They hate everybody that believes in it. They know it. That's why they're sitting here smiling, because they know they're being exposed right now because they're a bunch of idiots. I watched their show. You guys aren't fooling.
Looks pretty real, doesn't it? Welcome to the next generation of warfare, where videos, images, and propaganda are created with AI technology. The bottom line is, question everything, even me. I was generated by AI.
After months of turmoil over COVID restrictions, critical race theory, and transgender policies, there are now reports of 2 sexual assaults by a gender-fluid boy. The county's new bathroom policy and a recent change to state law are back in the spotlight.
Superintendent Scott Ziegler apologizing after 2 girls reported the sexual assaults on school grounds.
I'm sorry that we failed to provide the safe, welcoming, and affirming environment that we aspire to provide.
According to the Commonwealth's attorney, the same teenager is accused in both incidents that happened months apart at different Loudoun County high schools. In one, the attack took place in a girls' restroom. The alleged attacker allowed access by the school's transgender policy. Scott Smith, father of that victim, is suing the school system after being arrested while trying to confront the board at a recent meeting.
The whole thing was handled poorly.
The superintendent and the school board members insist they were not aware of the specific details of this incident until it was reported in media outlets.
Mr. Ziegler, how could have you lied to all of these parents about what had happened to my daughter?
This all brings renewed criticism on 2 controversial measures. The county's recently adopted rule allowing transgender students to use restrooms that match their gender identity, a policy supported by Virginia's Board of Education, and HB 257, a bill passed in the legislature by the Democrat majority that ended mandatory school reporting of certain crimes, including sexual battery.
So that parents aren't aware, so that law enforcement isn't aware. And I think that had a direct impact on how they handled both of these rapes.
Amid the latest fallout, one school board member abruptly resigned, and there are new calls for the superintendent to step.
News 4 confirmed last night that the Loudoun County School Board voted unanimously to fire Superintendent Scott Ziegler effective immediately. The school board met in closed session. They discussed the special grand jury report that was released on Monday. That report found Loudoun County Public Schools administrators looked out for their own interests rather than the best interest of the school district throughout their handling of 2 sexual assaults committed by the same high school student. A 14-year-old student sexually assaulted a girl at Stonebridge High School in May of 2021. He was allowed to transfer to Broad Run High School, where he abducted and sexually assaulted another girl in October of that year. The teen was later convicted in juvenile court. Members of the Loudoun County Board of Supervisors actually were the first to confirm to us that the superintendent had been fired. There are reports that because of the superintendent's contract, he will be paid in full. However, News 4 is working to confirm those details for you right now, and we will bring you the very latest as we learn it throughout the day, both on air and online. Reporting in Loudoun County, Drew Wilder, News 4.
The New York Times and CNN shared a story with photos of immigrant children in cages. It turns out the photos were from 2014, during the Obama administration. CNN edited a video to make it appear as though Trump impatiently dumped a box of fish food into the water in Japan. The full video showed Trump had simply followed the lead of Japan's prime minister. In December 2018, NBC reported Trump was the first president since 2002 not to visit the troops at Christmas time, but Trump actually left the White House on Christmas to visit troops in Iraq. In November 2019, Newsweek falsely reported that President Trump was spending Thanksgiving golfing in Florida. He was actually in Afghanistan serving dinner to U.S. troops. Time incorrectly reported that President Trump had removed the bust statue of Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. That false news went viral. TMZ reported Trump had changed the name Black History Month to African American History Month, implying the change was racist. In fact, it turns out Presidents Obama, George W. Bush, and Clinton all called Black History Month African American History Month. Also, the Washington Post reported on the cabinet battle over Trump's immigration order. The article was repeatedly updated to note that one of the reported meetings did not actually occur, a conference call did not happen as described in the article, and actions attributed to Trump were actually carried out by his chief of staff. And the New York Times reported on supposed contacts between Trump campaign staff and senior Russian intelligence officials. FBI Director James Comey later testified it was not true.
That report by the New York Times was not true. Is that a fair statement?
In the main, it was not true. In May, the
BBC and The Guardian reported because Trump wasn't wearing headsets, he didn't bother to listen to the translation of a speech by Italy's prime minister. But Trump was wearing his earpiece in his right ear, as always, said the White House. In June 2017, NBC News reported that Russian President Putin said he had compromising information about Trump. Actually, Putin said the opposite.
Do you have something damaging on our president?
Well, this is just another load of nonsense. Where would we get this information from?
CNN and ABC falsely reported that FBI Director Comey was going to refute Donald Trump's claim that Comey told Trump 3 times he wasn't under investigation. Instead, Comey confirmed Trump's claim under oath.
It appears that you actually volunteered that assurance. Is that correct?
That's correct.
CNN retracted a report claiming Congress was investigating a Russian investment fund with ties to Trump officials. Newsweek reported Poland's First Lady refused to shake Trump's hand, but later acknowledged she did. Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal falsely reported Special Counsel Robert Mueller had subpoenaed Trump's bank records. AP reported a new survey showed trust in the media had fallen during the Trump presidency, but the survey was actually conducted under President Obama. The New York Times said a hypothetical family's tax bill would rise nearly $4,000 under Trump's tax plan. It turns out their taxes would actually go down $43. ABC aired video purportedly showing a slaughter and horrific report of atrocities against Kurds by Turkey after President Trump withdrew U.S. troops.
This video right here appearing to show Turkey's military bombing Kurd civilians in a Syrian border town.
But the video was file tape of a training video in the U.S. CBS aired a story in March of 2020 supposedly showing a New York hospital crowded with coronavirus patients.
It's all hands on deck in America's hospitals.
It was actually file tape from Italy. A week later, CBS News mistakenly used the Italy video again.